Okay, g'day again everyone. Right, I have sorted out what I'm doing here. I was just going to raise the engine a bit, but it doesn't achieve anything anyway because I've still got the frame, the cage around the engine. So lifting the engine isn't going to achieve anything as far as as far as clearance is concerned. It would also cause a whole lot of problems because the cage is fitted around the engine, and the exhaust coming up through the cage, and I would have had to go and modify all the cage then. So I've set it back at the right level. Also, any lift you do at this point is going to affect how much lift you can do this point. So as you can see, I've cut a section out of there. I'm going to also fit a piece of flat bar, probably like an inch wide and 4 mil thick, 3-4 mil thick, and I'll cut a section out of this, fit it in, closer to the actual tube, just for strength. And then if you just weld it out here, then that could still bend. I was concerned after I did it, so I got an inch ruler and checked it underneath, because it looked like it had actually curved up. Looks like it was curving up. But then when I checked it to the other side, which I haven't done yet, has got a curve, so it's naturally curving anyway. There's about a 2 mil difference, like when you put it on there flat. About 2 mil rock. I haven't done the other side as yet, and this is the piece that I welded into it. It's about the same thickness of panel. It's about 2 mil. This is a piece of pipe. It's actually a 4-inch pipe, and I set it over a 5-inch copper log and spread it a little bit so that it's about 1/2 inch wider, I suppose, than the anyway, that's what I've welded into it. So anyway, on to the next bit. I've got it jacked up here at the moment. I'll put the shocky mount on. I'll explain that very shortly. I didn't actually need, I'll cut these off, but what I've discovered is, so I've jacked this up, and I had this up to about this height, and it still doesn't bind the shocky. The shocky still isn't coming right up, so I probably didn't actually need to. I could probably have left them as they were, except that these are rusted anyway. So like this one's considerably rusted. The other one has gone completely, so what I will be doing is I'll be cutting just this section here out, and I'll sit it in here, so it'll probably be 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch higher. So it will actually be higher, but not by a lot, about 3/4 of an inch. So that's not really any issue. I'll jack this down now. Actually, I'm going to need this. Will I? No, I can just hold it. Just kick it out. Right. This is only tight from the new rubbers that are on there. I don't have the spring beam in there yet, so do not put too much pressure on it actually, because that's only just tacked on, and I think I'll come down there fully anyway. But yeah, it matters at this point anyway. So what I did is I let this right down, and I think it goes out of focus, this camera. It's really annoying. Sorry about that. Okay, it's really slow. Yeah, I turned this. I can lower this right down, and when you turned it, you could feel it binding. It was sort of lump, 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 and possibly a bit of that is actually the dirt in. These have got to be all pulled apart and cleaned because they'd been left off the car. And yeah, when you take these out, it just opens the CV joint, so all that grease and everything's full of dirt. And, but anyway, as I said, I lowered it, hooked it together, yeah, and let it just hang. Pushed it down a little bit actually, and you know, to as low as it could go, and then I jacked it up, you know, which was only about half an inch, to where this moves freely without binding. And yeah, that's where I put my bump stop on. This is the bump stop off the other rear end. So yeah, I cut the original off this one, and that's only tacked on at the moment. I've got to actually take the arm off to fully weld it, but that's how I positioned that. I positioned that by as low as I could get without the CVs binding on the axle. And then the shocky mount, I fully extended the shocky and then pulled it back up half an inch. And that's where I've reset these two. You can see it better on the other side, a bit more light. You see it's about an inch higher than what it previously was. Probably a bit more than an inch actually. Yeah, so that's how much I've raised the shocky mounts. And yeah, there is a left and a right, which I should have marked. Well, I would have got painted over anyway, but yeah, I matched up which was which by where I'd cut them out. So I matched them up to where I'd cut them off, and yeah, discovered there was definitely a left and a right, and got the right ones on there. So yeah, we're all set to go now. Where I cut this down to, and it looks like I've got probably more clearance than I actually needed. But although this will drop a little bit. Because these mounts are only sitting there, when you bolt them down it'll drop a tiny bit more. Not a lot. But yeah, so this is just below where that this should be a pipe with a cable which operated the heater. And I'm not using the original heater system anymore now. So yeah, that's where I cut it down to. Yeah, just below where this pipe comes out. And we'll do then. So, and at this point I can't actually do any more because I could pull it apart, I suppose, and finish welding it, but I can't continue with the bump stop because that involves cutting, and it's now 11:30 at night, so that part will be waiting till tomorrow. And I think I'll leave the whole thing till tomorrow now anyway. Watch a little bit of YouTube and go back to bed. So anyway, we've got it sorted out. Because the original had about probably 15 mil of preload, but that'll determine how hard the actual suspension is. So I'll set it up here, but I may have to order it again when I get it on the car. The preload as to how well it sits. This will be a little bit softer. This is the longer axle. So the longer axle is slightly softer suspension. So I may have to muck around with the preload a little bit. The other alternative too is to go to a spring over shock. And one thing you need to understand with a spring over shock is basically they're the same set of shocks that you'd put on like a 250 motorcycle. They're just a booster. You couldn't, pull the spring bar out and just run it on them. They're nowhere near strong enough to support the weight of the car and the engine and everything. So there may still be a bit of fiddling around left to do. But I've got the wheel center now is just below the floor pan. So what's that? That gives me a floor height of about a foot. So I've achieved a bit of a lift. Sort of gets a little bit confusing when you're talking about it because you're lowering the suspension to lift the car. So you're talking about lift. You say, I'm lifting it, but you're actually lowering the suspension here. Anyway. Alright, I'll leave it at that. And I suppose the next update now is when I get it all finished, put back together. Don't think there's anything else I want to mention. Well, the other thing that I did was I put some washers on either side of the shock to keep them in the centre. I don't know what the go is with this, whether they're supposed to just slide backwards and forwards like down in here. They don't. The shocky doesn't fit tight against anything, so I'd have to do a little bit of research on that, whether it's meant to slide backwards and forwards or whether it's supposed to have spaces in it or whether the shocks for this model have got, a wider dowel through the middle. I don't know, but anyway, as I said, it's easy to fix by putting a few washers on it. So. Okay, thanks for watching. Hit like, please.